Let me talk to the person who feels behind in life. You feel late. You feel unprepared. You feel like everyone else has started before you. You feel like your moment has passed. And deep down, you keep asking God one question: Lord, am I ready? Let's talk about it.
I know time for lagging. I know time for lagging. I know time for lagging. Yeah.
If you are a subscriber, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome to the family. Because today we're talking about something powerful. What happens when God says it's your time, but you don't feel ready yet? Let's talk about the lie we believe about timing. We think when God calls us, we'll feel confident. We think when God calls us, we'll feel ready. We think when God calls us, we'll feel qualified. We imagine the moment God calls us, we'll feel peaceful. It will feel clear. It will feel comfortable. But the truth is, God's timing rarely matches our comfort. God's calling rarely matches our confidence. God's purpose rarely matches our self image. And this right here is why so many people miss their moment. Not because God didn't call them, but because they didn't feel ready when He did. And this is where the enemy gets people stuck because he can make you wait until you feel ready. That's what he wants to do. He wants to make you wait until you finally say, okay, God, I'm ready. And the thing about it is, you'll wait forever. And let's talk about the danger and the dangerous traps of one day. We tell ourselves, one day I'll start the ministry. One day I'll write the book. One day I'll launch the business. One day I'll step into purpose. I'm sure you can find yourself somewhere in that. But can I tell you something hard? One day is the most dangerous phrase in the world because one day quietly turns into next year, and then 5 years, then a decade. And then at the end of the day, it ends up turning into regret. And the scariest thing in the world is not failure, it's reaching the end of your life and realizing I was called, but I never moved. I want you to pause there really quickly emotionally because somebody watching this feels that deep in their spirit right now. Can I talk to you about Moses? Moses is minding his own business, right? Tending sheep, living an ordinary life. 40 years removed from Egypt, 40 years removed from his past, 40 years removed from the dream he once had. And suddenly God appears in a burning bush. And God tells Moses something life-changing. He says, I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt. In other words, Moses, it's your time. And Moses' first reaction, it wasn't excitement. It was insecurity. Moses asked the question we all ask. Moses says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? In modern day language, God, why me? I'm not ready. I'm not qualified. I don't feel prepared. And then Moses asked the question you mentioned. What if they don't believe me? How will they know you sent me? This is deep because Moses, he wasn't doubting God. He was doubting himself. And this is where many people are right now. You don't doubt that God exists. You doubt God would use you. You believe in purpose. You just don't believe it applies to you. You believe in calling. You just don't believe you're ready for yours. So, what is the insecurity of calling? Let me tell you. Calling exposes insecurity. Purpose, it exposes fear. Destiny exposes doubt because when God calls you, you immediately see everything you lack. Moses, he didn't see miracles. He saw weakness. Moses, he kept giving excuses. Moses tells God, I'm not a good speaker. He tells God, I'm slow at speech. I don't talk well. Imagine telling the creator of the universe, I don't think I'm the right person for the job. But we do the same thing every day. God, I don't have the money. God, I don't have the education. God, I don't have the confidence. God, I don't have the platform. God, I don't have the followers. And God, I don't even have the support. You can find yourself somewhere in there. Excuses haven't changed in thousands of years, just the wording. So, why does excuses then feel so logical? I'm happy you asked because here's the part nobody talks about. Excuses don't feel like rebellion. They feel like logic. They feel like you're being wise. They feel like you're being realistic. You don't think you're being unreasonable. You think you're being reasonable. But sometimes what we call wisdom is actually fear in disguise. And fear always sounds responsible. God's response changes everything. God didn't say, "You're right, Moses. Let me find some other person. Let me find somebody better." God didn't say that. He didn't even say that you're qualified. God didn't say you're ready. God said, "I will be with you." That's it. Because calling was never about your ability. It was never about Moses' ability. It's about God's presence. And if God is with you, you have everything you need. You think you need preparation, but what you really need is obedience. You think you need confidence, but what you really need is a movement. You think you need certainty, but what you really need is faith. Because confidence comes after obedience, clarity comes after movement, provision comes after the step. You understand that? Imagine this for a moment. Moses is gone by this time. The great leader of Israel is dead. And now Joshua is in charge, right? Millions of people, huge responsibility, impossible task. And what does God tell Joshua? He tells him to be strong and to be courageous. He repeats it again and again. Why? Because God never tells you to be strong unless you feel weak. Joshua didn't feel ready either, but God said something so powerful. He says, "As I was with Moses, so I will be with you." There it is again. The promise was never readiness. The promise was presence. I hear you. So why do we feel late in life? You look around and you see people younger than you succeeding, ahead of you in life, moving faster than you, and you feel late. But God doesn't measure time the way that you and I measure time. Moses was 80 years old when God called him. Can you believe that? 80 years old. Your timeline and God's timeline are not the same. You are not late. You are being prepared. And preparation often feels like delay. Growth often feels like waiting, and obedience often feels like risk. But God wastes nothing. Every heartbreak, every mistake, every detour, every delay was training. When you stop asking, "Am I ready?" and start asking, "God, are you with me?" Because if God is with you, that's enough. No need to ask any more questions. Stop disqualifying yourself. You are not too late. You are not too behind. You are not too inexperienced. You are called. And when God calls you, that means this is the time right now. God is not waiting for you to feel ready. God is waiting for you to say yes. Your time is now. Step forward, move in faith, trust in God's presence more than your own feelings. And remember this, keep showing up because I believe when you show up, God does too. If you are not subscribed, consider subscribing and being a part of this great body of believers. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one.